Hello everyone and welcome back to Plague Inc. Evolved Radio with you here, and as you may be able to tell, I have been dealing with a bit of a plague myself. Last week it was strep throat, a severe case of that. This week followed up by a nice hefty case of allergies, so I am a touch under the weather, but we must press on because I did promise you guys we were going to get into the Necroa virus, and that's what we're going to work on today. The Necroa virus is kind of like the Neurax worm in that it is a two-part game, and it can be a little tricky. I have had a lot of failures with this one. I'm going to go over my, I guess, tried and true method. Hopefully it works well for you. It usually does work well for me. And as always, we're only going to be using the metabolic hijack, which makes it a little harder because all I'm doing is using this for the ease of gameplay because it's going to pop the orange and red bubbles for me. There are a lot of great things that you would want to insert to make your life a little easier. I've actually just been unlocking these Necroa viruses as I've been beating the game recently, but we're going to skip those. We're going to try to do this the old tried and true method straight through and see what happens here. We're kind of going the rough and tumble way. We are up to PAX 31 because I'm lazy and don't like to rename new things, and we're going to go in here and we're going to select our start location. And as always, my favorite happens to be Saudi Arabia. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to kick the game on high speed. And unlike some of the previous games, I'm going to be buying these one at a time, like a la carte. I'm going to be moving really quickly. Let me show you first the transmission page. It is very different than some of the things we've been doing before. And we're going to start off with a zoonotic shift. This is going to move us into the animal tree. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of animal movement. There are the typical insects, rodents, birds. We're going to be going after bats. There are 2 bats right here. After that, we're going to be looking at saliva, which is pretty gross. The symptoms are fairly interesting. There's going to evolve on their own. Again, we can't do anything about that unless we want to spend points, which we don't. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to kind of let that evolve because it will help us, because right here, I believe it is this tile. This is our magic tile that actually makes zombies, which is kind of the fun part. So, and then in his abilities, we have our standard hot, cold, drug resist, those sorts of things. So let's get in 3 points for our zoonotic shift, and then we're going to save up 10 points so we can start getting bats flying about the country and about the world so we can infect as many people as possible. Now, a lot of times what I will try to do is make sure that I infect as much of the world as possible before we unleash hell. That isn't quite going to be able to happen here. They're going to start work on a cure relatively quickly, and it's not going to be avoidable, but that's okay because there will actually be a point where the cure isn't really going to matter to us. We're going to save up 17 points for our bat too. But as I was saying, the cure will get to at least, I don't know, a good 2/3 to 3/4 sometimes. It's really of no consequence in this style of game because once we get to the zombies, we actually have kind of a neat feature where we go into a little bit of combat. Now, it's not your action shooter style melee combat or anything like that, but it is strategically based. Is that what I want to say? Strategy based combat. So let's go in here. Let's grab our bat. Let's get back into the game. And from here, I want to do my drug resistance one. So we're going to save up 9 points for that. But as I was saying, we're going to have to invariably move some zombies from one country to another country to kind of do some not only infesting but also some killing, because we need to make sure that we infect everyone and of course kill everybody. So drug resistance 1, anchors away, not a problem there. And from here we're going to be going into saliva. And saliva is back in our transmission page, which is only 9 points. We have that. Now you can go either saliva 2 or gastrointestinal expansion, which is pretty gross if you read this. I'm going to shoot for saliva 2 simply because it's a little cheaper. So I'm going to save up the quick 9 points to make that move as fast as I can. And right around the time that Saudi Arabia gets completely infected, that's when we're going to start having some symptoms evolve, whether we like it or not. But again, it's not going to be a huge issue. So let's get to 9 points and let's get saliva 2. And with our now 10 points, we'll go ahead and do that. And we're going to go ahead and now save up 13 points for our gastrointestinal expansion, which is so gross, but the child in me absolutely adores it. You know how excited I get about the stupid diarrhea. Puking and vomiting on people and all that kind of stuff, just, I don't know. There's something wrong with me. So now Saudi Arabia is in fact aware that we do have a disease going on, and insomnia has been mutated. That's okay, because I'm going to show you real quick. In here, in the abilities, nope, the symptoms tab. You can go about this one of 2 ways. You can come from this direction. You can also come from this direction. Using the method that we're using today, you're going to find out that most of these are going to be evolved for us for free, so we won't have to spend a whole lot to turn our zombies into zombies. So that's the method we're going to use. So let's grab our gastrointestinal expansion. Say that 4 times fast, because it's more fun than saying it 3, I guess. But that's a tricky one. It took me a minute to kind of roll that off the tongue as quickly as I have been. And from here, what we're going to be doing now is getting to water 1. And from our water, we're going to go back into old-fashioned cold resistance. We have managed to hit Canada, which is awesome. And we're going to want to hit cold resist 1 and 2. The first one I think is 6 points. It is indeed. And then 9 points for cold resist 2. That happened really quick, so let's get 9 points for cold resist 2. Now, what I usually do is I had been using water 2, and this is a very viable option. You may choose to use this if you feel that if you hit the E key, if you see that a lot of islands or just ports of call are not infected, go for water 2. It's not a problem. I'm going to try drug resist 2, and the reason for that is a big save. It's 23 points, but the reason for that is because a lot of times America and Canada can be very beneficial, because what's going to happen after we have the zombie outbreak is we're going to have ZCOM bases. And what those are going to be is pretty much what they sound like. It's an outpost that is set up by the survivors to kill the remaining zombies. So let's get our drug resist 2. And we have to defeat those bases. A lot of times they're going to end up in Greenland, Iceland. Sweden has been kicking my ass. So I like to have... Wow, that was awesome. I like to have the upper echelon taken care of as much as possible and populated with the zombies, because they move one country at a time. Now, so from here I can go to here. I can also jump to here, but you can only go to one country at a time. So I just want to have as many zombies available as I possibly can. Now, here's an interesting part of the game. From here, we sit and wait. If I really thought it necessary, I could probably go to water 2, but it looks like we're hitting... I mean, most of the world is already infected. We're just waiting for the citizens to get infected. So what we're going to do is actually sit and wait until the cure gets to about 50 to 60%, and or we get to about 60 to 70 DNA points. I'll probably just wait for the cure to go up a little bit, because from there we're going to go over the line that we're going to use to actually turn our sick people into zombie people. Our fever has mutated. Right around 47% is usually, I don't know why that is, but right around 47% is where we get the photophobia. So we're on our way to this center tile that we're after. So, but for now, we're going to sit back and relax. We're just going to pop some bubbles and let the cure kind of develop, let them do their thing and run around, saving up DNA points, and then I'm going to show you the tree to turn everyone into zombies, and then from there, we're going to figure out what the hell to do with them. Well, here's a good stopping point. The genome has been fully sequenced. We're at 51%. We have 67 points, so we might as well go ahead and go in and start raining terror. At 39%, we actually had the photophobia. It happened a little early, which is fine. So let's get in, and we're going to hit delirium, and then this is the one, the cytopathic reanimation. This is the one that takes our sick people and turns dead into zombies. So we're going to want to click this, and then we're also going to want to go right into the anaerobic resuscitation. And what this is going to do is it helps destroy the brain, processes, and personality. It's going to make our zombies mindless, and it increases the severity and also the lethality, which is good, because you can't have undead unless you have regular dead. So let's click on this and get that going. From here, I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Yeah, let's do enhanced motor control. Now you can read these as you go. This is just one preferred method, but there are a lot of great trees that you can kind of experiment in, and I really recommend that you do so, because this really is a whole hell of a lot of fun. But for this one, this is going to help increase the movement in severity in urban environments, which is a good thing. We want that. And then we're going to start making our zombies strong, but before we do so, I want to go into abilities and I'm going to show you this. This is the Horde Instinct. We are going to need this. This is going to have them be able to travel across land and water, which we need. And then from here, Horde Mentality. This is going to take the zombie horde. So if I want to go from this tile to this tile, let's say, it's going to increase the amount of zombies into the thousands. We definitely need that. So let's go ahead and we'll make that happen. And now we're going to wait, and we're going to go back here, and I want to make them a little tougher. As a matter of fact, I'm going to save up 13 points so I can get this masticatory tension, because this is, it says you can bite through thick clothing. The severity goes very high. So we want 13 points for that. And as you can see, we had this little ability bar come over here, and I'm going to show you how to use that very shortly. But first, let's get our 13 points, because we have to make them very strong. And once we do that, then we're going to worry again about being able to make them mobile, because as soon as a ZCOM base does show up, we need to try to take it down. Now, from here, I'm actually not going to go down this route. I'm going to go back over here to the peptide surge, which makes them very strong, and it's 11 points, and it increases the severity yet again. So let's go ahead and do a peptide surge. From there, I think I'm going to go ahead and focus on movement, because it won't be too long before our ZCOM bases show up, and those are the bane of our existence, believe you me. The only times I've ever really lost this game is because of those sons of guns. So, see if we can get to a quick 11 points. We can. Peptide Surge. Now, we need 16 points for the Horde Instinct 2, which won't take very long. Something else that kind of happens, which is really neat, and we'll probably see it shortly. We have the red and orange DNA bubbles. We're going to have little zombie head bubbles, which are kind of cool. So, let's go in here. Horde vocalization. This takes the Horde now to the hundreds of thousands, and of course, as you might have guessed, the pheromones will turn them into millions of zombies, which is exactly what we want, and it's not too far away. I don't want to be clicking these bubbles. You don't really have to do that. I can't help myself. It's compulsory. So, anyway, the zombies have already destroyed West Africa, so that's interesting, and there's our little zombie head. And now we can, in the millions of numbers strong, move from one place to another. I'm going to go back into symptoms. And from here, you're kind of left with an interesting choice. If you go to dermal calcification, it gives the zombies a combat advantage. It makes them stronger. Over here, there's some sort of, I can't remember the name, it's a cranial buff that turns your head into a big, fat, thick egg, so you're harder to kill. Down here, of course, though, is acidic reflux. This turns them into more of a spitter. Down here is a spitting tree. So I think this time I'm going to go ahead with the dermal calcification, which is 18 points, but I also need to save points because here's our ZCOM right there. Okay, so there in Greenland, it usually is something like that. Greenland, Iceland, somewhere that's just going to piss you off to no end. So what we have to do now, while this is quickly paused, let's click on Canada. There's a fine line you walk, because we have healthy people, we have infected people, and then we have zombies, and then of course this is actual dead, because zombies don't last forever. So what we want to do is kind of find out who has a high zombie populace right now. Canada and America both have millions and millions, which is exactly what we need to get in here, because not only do we have to infect Greenland, we need to take out this base as fast as we can, hopefully before they spread to an additional country. Over here, we have nothing yet, and Iceland is pretty much useless. So unfortunately, here, and then even down here, we can go straight up. Brazil might be some of our saving grace. It costs us 4 points. And coming up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit pause real fast so I can show you. We're going to use our active ability. So we're going to click on this. We're going to select our start country. We're going to select our target country. We're going to click on it. We're going to unpause. Boom. And this is a wave. Millions. It'll tell you right here how many. How many did we get across there? 19 million. And in one fell swoop, ZCOM has been destroyed. That is a huge stroke of blood. Now, I'm going to do a quick pause because that was 76 points in a huge hurry. And what I want to do is assess the situation here. What do we have? Everywhere is infected except Sweden. And Russia can go to Finland, can go to Sweden. See, this is where it kind of gets tricky. Although Poland has a boatload of zombies. They have 29 months. So let's go from Poland right to Sweden. And what we're going to want to do now, essentially, is we're just going to want to drag high populous zombie count countries into the lower populous ones, infect them like mad, and that infects everyone, that kills everyone, and it makes it so we wipe out the human population. Quick tap at the E. Okay, so the Philippines has been getting off scot-free. They're down here. China has plenty of zombies, so let's take from China to the Philippines. I've had that happen before where I accidentally overlooked, I think it was the Caribbean. And it kicked my butt because I was wondering why I wasn't winning the game, and it was because I forgot one small country. So we're doing really well here. So if we wanted to, we could go in here and we could just do all kinds of different things. Let's do enhanced sensory integration. Why not? Let's do adrenal surge. I've never even read this one. What is this? Mutation of the adrenal cortex causes adrenaline overproduction. They're more aggressive. Sounds great. Let's make that happen. And we'll get back in here and have the game play. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have this one in the bag. That was one of the easier ones that I've done. I'm just checking to see. As you can see, the countries go black as the populace dies off altogether. And if you click on one, it'll show you that they're all dead. There are no zombies. So, and we had another free mutation, which is nice. But effectively, this is it. I'm simply clicking around, trying to find out where is that little holdout country. Who has a blue populace? Which one of you sons of guns is it? There's always one. There's always one holdout that I can't seem to find. And if you're lucky, you find them, and you zip over some zombies to kill them. It's none of the regular. Wait. Oh no, that was the world. So somewhere around in here, and I can't figure out where. Doesn't really matter. We've destroyed humanity. congratulations, PAX 31 has destroyed humanity, and if we click OK, we're going to go into our endgame screen, and we're going to see how we did. 707 days, the cure progress, again, was not an issue. 26,550, not too bad. 3 biohazards, not too bad either. So, that is the Necroa virus. Give that one a shot, play around with it, try a bunch of different methods, because once you kind of get the first stage, it's the second stage that can be a whole hell of a lot of fun, and it can kind of just really be entertaining. So, coming up next will be the Prion, a slow, subtle, extremely complex pathogen, and it really kind of is, but fear not, I do have a path for that as well, so we'll get into that in the next episode. In the meantime, do me a favor, leave a comment in the section below, let me know what you think about the Necroa virus, let me know what your method is, like this video if you like it, subscribe if you'd like to see more like it, don't forget to hit up the City Builder Collective, the link to which is in the description below, and we're going to see you next time for another episode of Plague Inc. Evolved.